But I think really the gifts of Neptune and Pisces would be this like collective compassion that we've seen for, especially for causes that have historically been taboo. It feels like we're kind of seeing through, and it's all happening at once too, but it feels like we're kind of seeing through the veil. We're seeing all the smoke and mirrors that the media is trying to, put onto us, and society, all the societal conditioning that's falling away. So there's this like deep empathy and compassion that I'm seeing, even for people who historically have been able to ignore and avoid it. Maybe you're living in a white body, or a male body, or you're living in a cisgender body, and you're happy with your gender. Like, there are so many different struggles that are being highlighted, and I think it's really beautiful because it's opening people's hearts and creating connection between people that I think 16 years ago they just wouldn't even have been on each other's radar. I've been married to my husband for 10 years. We were high school sweethearts. So we've been together 19 years this year, which is nuts. Yeah. And so those last 4 years, like 2021-ish, it was a really rough year for us. And what we had to do, and it's interesting now that I'm looking at the astrology of it, because Neptune is conjunct my Mercury in my chart. And we had to really totally reconfigure how we spoke to each other and how we communicated, because I'm a Capricorn Mercury. He's a Cancer. Good. Yeah, he's a Cancer Mercury.
Oh.
So I was listening and saying, when he would complain, I was listening for, how can I fix this? What do you need me to do? Like, that's kind of one of the shorthands that I have for Capricorn Mercury that I share with my clients. You're listening for, what do I need to do here? Why are you telling me this? And I think all the Mercury signs are listening for something.
Right.
His Cancer Mercury was listening for, how did I mess up? What did I do wrong? Where's the proof that you're going to abandon me? Right. So it was like, when he's complaining to me, I'm annoyed because I'm like, what do you want me to do? When I'm complaining to him, he's annoyed because he's like, oh, I'm failing. Like, I'm losing my spot in my family.
You're listening to In Transit, human stories from real astrological transits. You might be asking yourself, what is an astrological transit? Think of it like two planets getting on a subway train. They're on that train for however long it takes to get to their next destination. They might have a fight on that train, or they could have a full-on love fest. You don't really know. What you do know is this: what they discuss and how they discuss it has an effect on your everyday life. And most of the time, you don't realize how much it's affected you until the ride is over. I'm Self-Carrie. I'm an astrological counselor, and for over a decade, I've supported hundreds of individuals, couples, families, and work colleagues in using their personal astrology charts to find accurate timing for cosmically informed life and business decisions. I care a lot about timing, but what I've loved most over the years isn't just teaching people what might happen. It's hearing the story of what actually happened once the transit was over. So here we are. Welcome to In Transit. Hello, everyone. It's your girl, Self-Carrie, your empowerment astrologer. I'm back here with another episode of In Transit. We're talking about human experiences during astrological transits. And I'm here with Alyssa from the Karuna Lab. And she is going to, because she's a Virgo, she is going to tell you everything you need to know about her before we get started on her Neptune in Pisces story. Alyssa, please.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Carrie, for having me. It is an honor. My name is Alyssa. As Carrie said, I'm the founder of the Karuna Lab. I provide astrology-based strategic counsel for high-achieving entrepreneurs, emotionally exhausted millennials, everybody in between. I specialize in what I call practical mysticism. Me and Carrie were just talking before the show started about how important it is, especially for Black and Brown people, to be able to use these esoteric tools from our ancestors. And it's just so important. But we need it to be practical. We need it to be grounded. And so that is what I specialize in. I help my clients use their birth charts as diagnostic tools to really help them understand their decision-making patterns, build more self-trust, and navigate any major life transitions they might be going through.
All right, girl, you heard it from the Virgo herself. Short, concise, everything that we love about Virgo.
I love being a Virgo. I love it.
Don't you? I have yet to meet a Virgo who's like, I don't like being a Virgo. Virgos know. Yeah,
they be posing.
Yeah, I agree. I'm a Leo, but I have 3 planets in Virgo, and I think that saved me.
Yeah, I'm a Virgo. I'm a Virgo. Leo moon. So I get it.
You get it. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Okay. So let's talk about your holy trifecta, which is what I call the sun, the moon, and the rising.
Absolutely. And so I might have misled you guys here for a second. I'm actually an Aquarius sun, Leo moon, and Virgo rising. But when I tell you the rising takes over, especially any type of forward thing, like anytime I'm being visible to like other humans, I'm like, we got to Virgo this up. Hold on. What are the details? What are we doing? Who's in charge? If nobody's in charge, I'll be in charge. Like that's very my speed. So, but I am an Aquarius sun, Leo moon, which opposites, they're always fighting.
Yes.
For those of you that have opposite in your big 3, you know the vibes. It's simultaneously terrible and strategic because it's like I see both sides, but also I want impossible things. Yes.
Yes. I can see, because I was like, I don't know how you do that. Leo and Aquarius. And then the Virgo. So I want to dissect you a little bit here, just for Please folks that are listening, right? Because the rising sign is, I love how you said the rising sign will take over. And it's like, what I always think of the rising sign is the storefront of the front of your store, and so it's like you were just walking around being, Leo and Aquarius and just not minding your business, right? and then here comes Virgo. But Virgo only steps in when something is messed up, And so what I love about that the rising sign is really just chilling back there until it's like being summoned, basically.
Yeah. And it's tricky. It's tricky because Virgo, when that Virgo side comes out, I almost get exposed as somebody that is highly capable, right? And so then they're like, oh, Alyssa can do it. But that Aquarius side comes back and I'm like, I don't want to be known for like one thing. Like I want to be different. I want to be unique. I want to be a jack of all trades. What are you talking about? Right.
Yes.
So it's difficult. And then the Leo moon gets angry when I don't get props for Virgoing all over the chaos.
Oh, yeah. So, no rewards. Yes. What's up?
It's like, what did you not see? Did you not see what I did? So
it's a rough. It's rough. It's rough. I feel you. I have my Leo sun in the 11th house, which is an Aquarian house. And so it took me a long time to see how that was going to show up. And then the 3 planets in Virgo. And then I'm a Libra rising and a Cancer moon. Aww. But
that's where that softness comes from. I just told her before we started recording, I was like, you just have such a soft energy, but it's so practical. It's like, I can trust her. Like if we were complete strangers, I'd be like, no, I'm going to listen to her. So I see where it comes from now.
Thank you. I have been told I am a hide the bodies person. Okay.
Absolutely.
So don't do it, but I'm just saying that's how I present.
Yes. I feel like you would be like dusting off your hand, like dusting the dirt off your hands before you had any questions for the person that called you. Like you would bury the body, everything, and then just like be putting the shovel in the trunk and just be like, well, what happened?
I know. Well, what happened though? Yeah, I'm here, but what happened? Exactly. And so tell me real quick, where are the houses that your sun and your moon are in?
Yeah. So my sun is in my 5th house. My moon is fun. In, I know it's a very fun placement. It really, really is, because it's like, I have to constantly check in with what is delighting me. Like that's even in my email signature, like wishing you delights big and small. Like I have all of these things that are reminding me be delightful, like
Mm.
find the delights. So it's kind of
Mm.
where that comes in. And then my moon is in my 12th house.
Ooh,
Uh-huh.
girl. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Okay. That's another
Mm-hmm.
episode.
Yep. And I'm in a 12th house perfection year. So that's another episode. Just, it's a lot. It's a
Wow.
lot.
That's fifth house and 12th house.
I know.
Wow. I just love this is why I love this side of astrology. I
Mm-hmm.
like it over here where we get to really dissect people and talk about the lived experience of these. You know,
Yeah.
it's not just cookie cutter. It's like we live in this. We're trying to
Mm-hmm.
figure it out as we go along.
Absolutely.
So today we're talking about Neptune in Pisces, okay, which has had literally held us captive for 16 years. Now this is Neptune went into Pisces in 2011. This was before I started studying astrology.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't know what was happening. I can definitely tell you something was happening at that time, but I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know what it was. It's very interesting that my Neptune and Pisces story is when I came into learning about astrology and trying to figure out what
Mm-hmm.
is this like weird veil that I'm no longer able to access.
Mm-hmm.
Can't see straight anymore, right? And so can you tell me what your explanation of Neptune and Pisces, what that feels like for you, and then also explain a little bit about the house where you have been experiencing Neptune and Pisces since 2011?
Yeah. I think Neptune in Pisces is incredibly potent. It's incredibly because, Pisces is at home a little bit, it's like, Neptune is at home. Um,
Mhm.
And so it was really potent. But for me, it didn't start really working on me until the last quarter, like the last 4 years or so of it. And it just got
Oh.
super intense. But I think really the gifts of Neptune and Pisces would be this like collective compassion that we've seen for, especially for causes that have historically been taboo.
Mm.
It feels like we're kind of seeing through, and it's all happening at once too. But it feels like we're kind of seeing through the veil. We're seeing
Mm.
all the smoke and mirrors that the media is trying to, put onto us, and society, all the societal conditioning that's falling
Mm.
away. So it's almost
Okay.
like
Okay, Aquarius. Okay.
I can't. I can't
I'm
help
just like, here we go, y'all.
yeah,
Okay.
I have to
The
talk with the
Matrix.
collective. Wake up, people.
Yes,
Wake up,
yes.
sheeple. Right. Anyway. Yeah. So there's this like deep empathy and compassion that I'm seeing, even for people who historically have been able to ignore and avoid it. And maybe you're
Mm.
living in a white body or
Mhm.
a male body, or you're living in a cisgender body and you're happy with your gender. Like there are so many different struggles that are being highlighted, and I think it's really beautiful because it's opening people's hearts and creating
Mm.
connection between people that I think 16 years ago they just wouldn't even have been on each other's
Mm.
radar.
That's a lovely explanation of it, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, and it's in my seventh house. Um, so
Mhm.
it's been a ride. It's been a ride. And like I
Mhm.
said, I think it really like cranked up for me these last 4 years. Um, I've been married to my husband for 10 years. We were high school sweethearts. So we've been together 19 years this year, which is nuts. And
Congratulations.
yeah. And so those last 4 years, like 2021-ish it was a really rough year for us. And what
Yeah.
we had to do, and it's interesting now that I'm looking at the astrology of it, because Neptune is conjunct my Mercury in my chart, and we
Ah,
had to really
ah,
totally reconfigure how we spoke to each other and how we communicated, because I'm a Capricorn Mercury. He's a
enough said,
Cancer.
yeah.
Yeah, he's a Cancer Mercury.
Oh,
So I was listening and saying, when he would complain, I was listening for, how can I fix this? What do you need me to do? Like, that's kind of
mm,
one of the shorthands that I have for Capricorn Mercury that I share with my clients. You're listening for, what do I need to do here? Why are you telling me this? And I think all the Mercury signs are listening for something.
right.
His Cancer Mercury was listening for, how did I mess up? what did I do wrong? Where's the proof that you're going to abandon me? Right. So it was like when he's complaining to me, I'm annoyed because I'm like, what do you want me to do? When I'm complaining to him, he's annoyed because he's like, oh, I'm failing. Like I'm losing my spot in my family. Like something's really, really wrong. So we had to really work on in this very Neptunian way, right? We had to have more compassion for each other, more compassion for what we went through growing up, because even though we grew up together, we had very different experiences. And we were learning things about each other that it was like, oh my God, I was there and I didn't know that. I didn't see that. I didn't know that was your experience. And so, like I said, just that compassion piece that really, it almost broke us, but it broke us open in this really beautiful way instead. So I'm really grateful that I have to say I'm grateful for that portion of it, of Neptune and Pisces. But my relationship with my mom also got a little bit rocky because very, very Piscean of me. I was struggling with boundaries with her. We were very enmeshed, very codependent, very like I was the mother and she was the daughter. But again, compassion, I realized that she had my brother who is autistic at 21. So just think back to who you were at 21. I know who I was at 21. I was not ready to mother an autistic child in the 80s. When there was, like now there's more support and, people are claiming autism openly and, lovingly. And it's like a quirk and a fun thing. But in the 80s, it was like, what is that? Why can't your kid do the things that all the other kids are doing? Right. Mind you, she's 21. Then she had me at 24. And I was let's have a baby so we can fix our marriage baby. Plot twist, it did not fix the marriage. I did not fix the marriage. And it's hilarious. My mother has a Aries moon. This is very Aries moon. She actually went and filed for divorce. And it was like late December or maybe early January that she was in divorce court, like asking for the divorce. Get this, y'all. The judge said, I think you're too hormonal. Come back after you had the baby if you still want a divorce. This was the 90s. Wow. This was the early 90s. I know. Yeah. And the funny thing is, Aries moon style, she came back February 20th. She still remembers the day. Mind you, my birthday is January 30th. So I'm not even a month old in the carrier. And she's like, I sat you down on the desk and I told the judge I'm back and I want my divorce. So if you're married to an Aries moon, just be careful.
I have to give it up for the Aries moon. I am so impressed, especially when I see it in women. Mm-hmm. Yes. You're just like, bow, yes. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because they know what they want and they're not afraid.
What they want. No, they're not. I love it. I mean,
emotions
I'm sorry.
are such a, no, you're fine. Emotions are such a place where there is so much fear and there is so much like, is it going to be okay for me to speak up for myself? Is it going to be okay for me to say the thing that I'm feeling? So many women, especially, are in relationships right now where they don't feel like they can say what they really need or be who they really are. And so even though my mother has been married 4 times, she loves love, but she has a sort of
legal love.
Right. She loves love. She don't love marriage. I always see that.
I gotcha.
And so, but yeah, she's always been someone who has spoken her mind, and having her as a role model of, oh no, this relationship can only work if I can be myself in it has been really, really helpful. But going back to our Neptune and Pisces story, I had to draw some boundaries with her, and I had to tell her, like, my daughter doesn't need to meet your boyfriend that you've had for 2 weeks, but being a grandparent, that's like part of her identity. So she was like, oh, let my daughter meet them. And I'm like, we don't let him last a year. Like, we're good. We're good. Yeah. So yeah, setting those boundaries that I had not set for myself. And again, I had my daughter in 2019. So I had not set for myself, but I had this level of courage. And I feel like Pisces, this level of Piscean courage, I don't think it's talked about enough, but Pisces actually has a lot of courage. And I think that some of it gets tipped over into Aries, and Aries just takes it up another notch. But I feel like Pisces energy is a very emotionally courageous energy. And I had to have that emotionally courageous energy with my mom and kind of set those boundaries.
I have never heard it said like that. Wow. That was brilliant. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Because literally there is a courage with Pisces, and I've never thought about that before. And it is an emotional courage. And I think the correlation that I'm making is that Pisces is the end of the line, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And so it is kind of one of those like, well, if you ain't gonna do it now, you gonna do it now, you know? It's just like,
Mm-hmm.
you ain't coming back, you know?
Right,
So
right.
there is that, you're right. There is that kind of like, after this, I meet my creator. So if there's something to say, if there's a boundary to put up, is there, then yes. So wonderful, beautiful,
Thank
Pisces,
you.
courageous and emotionally courageous and
Emotionally
almost
courageous.
spiritually courageous,
Yes, that's another beautiful way to put it. I feel like Aries gets all the courage, like PR,
Mm,
because they're moving
yeah,
in the real world, but there's
yeah,
so much that has to be done under the hood before you can move in the real world. And I think Pisces
for
does that
sure.
under the hood work.
I like that a lot, and I have met people who are on that Aries Pisces cusp, and
Mhm.
they tend to like you're like, how are you a Pisces?
Mhm.
But they tend to be very sagely, like little Jedis,
Yeah.
But the Aries energy is very impulsive. It's more of an impulsive kind
Mhm.
of energy. And so you do need that maturity, that wisdom of Pisces to really
Yeah.
ground that down. So I
Yeah.
love that. What a fantastic explanation.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
And your seventh house, like so many people call it so many things. How have you, I know you talked about with your relationship, your
Mhm.
actual partner, and seventh house being that house of like committed partnerships, committed friendships, committed
Mhm.
family, just the partnerships that you got to come back. You can't just leave. You
Yeah.
got to be like, all right, let's talk it out,
Mhm.
business partnerships, contracts, legal binding. How have you found the seventh house came into play during that Neptune and Pisces
Yeah, yeah.
time?
I think that the seventh house, how I explain it, is the house of relationships that you choose. Another fun way I think
Mm.
to explain it would be the house of like the horror movie relationships where you're going to go back into the house with the killer to get this person because you're like, I can't live with myself knowing I left them, right? So any of those people, any
Woo!
people that any people that fit that criteria are probably seventh house folks. Um,
Mhm.
and so it really showed up for me like in the, and this is, I'm exposing myself here a little bit, but in the savior martyr dynamics, in the, I have
Mm.
to be inconvenienced, I have to do the hard thing because you can't, because so you don't have to,
Ah.
when
Oh,
they didn't
yeah.
ask me for that. And it took so much self work, so much work on myself to be like, I'm actually cheating them out of valuable lessons. And this is why, because what showed me this was, again, this beautiful Aries Pisces flow of the anger that I was feeling of like, here's this person in this position again. Why do they keep doing this? I have to go bail them out again. And I'm like,
Mm.
they keep coming back around to this energy, to this situation, to this person, because there's information here that they need. And you keep blocking them. So they have to cut and then cast a new person and put the play on again. And so I was like, I gotta stop. The way I kind of conceptualized it was I was bouncing people, like outside of clubs, they have bouncers, like the big strong
Yes.
people. I was being a bouncer outside of somebody's like club life, and they were in there taking tequila shots, having a good time. And I'm out here fighting with the consequences of their actions, and I'm mad about it. And so I was,
Oh.
and so I was like, okay, I gotta just let them face the consequences of their actions. So that was a big thing for me is letting go of these savior martyr dynamics of like, I have to save you. I have to be the person. Again, Virgo, right? I have to come in and save the day. It's like, girl,
Mm.
no, no, and it's hard to watch people you love struggle, but
Yeah.
that struggle has so much valuable information, energetic information, spiritual information for them is going to make them a better person. And
Mm.
that's what I had to realize. It was hard. It's hard. Like I can think of somebody right now that's still struggling with something that I could have helped them through or with, but I've helped them through and with it before, and they keep doing the same thing. And so it's like, all right, there's something here for you. Let me let you find it.
Oh, I love that. There's something here for you. Let me let you find it.
Mm-hmm.
And also, thank you for speaking to that. How painful it is to not martyr yourself sometimes, like when you get into Pisces, like, a lot of, I'm sure with your clients that you have who have like heavy Pisces or whatever, they're always kind of sitting there like, it happened again. I'm a victim,
Yep.
like I just wanted to love them. I just thought if I did, or I keep attracting the same type of such and such.
Oh my gosh. Broken
Right.
bird syndrome. Yep.
For real. And then as person who has 3 planets in my 12th house, though, I recognize that kind of feeling of like, but if I save them, it'll all be okay. And the fact of the matter is that, that Pisces energy, which is 12th house energy, is about rehabilitation. It's literally about them being in rehab, meaning let them recover, So I love what you're saying about you. I'm keeping them from their own healing. I'm keeping them from their own recovery,
Yeah. And I also feel like Pisces is our baggage sign, right? Like each sign comes with their baggage, which I think could be a juicy episode. If you think about doing that one, like have me back.
Okay.
But each sign comes with their baggage. But I feel like Pisces is baggage claim. It's like everybody's baggage comes to one sign, which is Pisces. And so that, like you were saying, you find Pisces the one thing they have in common is they attract people that have these deep-seated wounds and these deep-seated issues. And it's almost like they keep them around because there's this idea, like you were saying, of I can fix them, I can help them, I can't let them, I don't want to let them fall or fail or get hurt or whatever. When it's like the call's coming from inside the house. They're hurting themselves.
Yes, girl.
Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
But Pisces energy loves to put the underwear on the outside, and go save the day. And one of the things, I was working with a client on this the other day, and essentially what I was telling her was like, everybody wants their Superman moment, but we forget that Superman is walking around as Clark Kent, right? And he has his entire spandex suit on underneath his full suit that he goes to work in. So he is uncomfortable. And we forget that we have to be, there's a level of discomfort that comes before that kind of Superman save the day moment. And I think it's hard to remember that the discomfort has purpose in Pisces energy, because we're like, no, I just wanted to go away. I just want to numb it out. And so that was something else I kind of struggle with, is like recognizing my numbing behaviors of like, oh, no. I need to go through this, as opposed to finding, music, TV, food, whatever it is to numb it out.
I love that. I love also the superhero, Superman, Clark Kent visuals as well, because I'm thinking so much about not only is Clark Kent uncomfortable under there, he is also undercover. And that is the part of Pisces where we get into resentment. Because it's like, and I speak as a Leo sun. You've got a Leo moon,
right?
So you know what I'm talking about, where I'm going here.
Vibes, yep.
Okay, where you're like, look, I put myself on the line. Where's my party? Yeah. Where's my reward?
Trophy.
And then where's my trophy? Something. I noticed that about you. I came in and saved you, and you didn't even have to put out a bat signal. Like, what's up? And then that's where the growing resentment comes. That also comes with Pisces. I've worked with a number of Pisces, and they aren't that spiritual that they are above, above resentment and anger. And so there is that Neptune in Pisces, which was double, which was also about, I also have to do this in secret. I want them to discover that I have helped them this whole time.
Yeah,
And
right.
they'll look up one day and was like, it was you the whole time. You're like, it's a whole story, a whole fantasy you're creating with this overlay. Yes, with this transit.
I love that. Yeah. The hallelujah chorus and everything. Like they're just going to look up and it's you and I love you so much and all these things. And the unfortunate piece is that a lot of times people take this help and they use it as, or they take that Piscean help, which is also so, it's just so comprehensive too. Like, can we talk about that for a moment where Pisces doesn't just come in? Pisces will like come in and like clean their house and like help them with their resume and like babysit their kids. It's like, what's happening? But they think, so then you help this person, right? You fix this broken bird and then they fly away. And like you said, the Pisces energy gets so resentful of, I wasted all this time and energy, sometimes years, helping this person, rehabilitating this person. And then as soon as they are strong enough to walk away from you, they do. And I've had so many Pisces clients who were like, how do I get over this? I'm so mad at this person. I'm so angry. And it's like this, you keep doing this. A lot of times it isn't the first time.
Yeah.
And you keep doing this because it's like there's something going on inside you, right? There's something that you're trying to fix, inside, but you're trying to fix it in other people instead of trying to fix it inside yourself, right? There's something that's like, if I just prove that I'm worthy enough to this person, if I just prove that I'm useful enough to this person, then they won't abandon me. And I think all of the water signs struggle with abandonment and they just deal with it in their own way. But Pisces, I think, gets the most active. I think Cancer comes in a close second, but Pisces gets extremely active trying to make sure that this abandonment kind of doesn't happen. And it's so unfortunate that they sometimes end up attracting users who use them and then abandon them anyway.
Very true. Yeah. I think it's really interesting because what you said about the water signs too, because I do think like all the water signs struggle with boundaries. I know as a Cancer moon myself, but I do think it's very interesting that, the two water signs like Cancer and Scorpio have a hard shell on the outside. So there's very much this idea of like, fool me once, fool me twice, and we ain't going there no more. But Pisces is just like, I ain't got no shell. I ain't got no nothing, and so there's literally blinders on.
Yes.
And so, there is this theory, this idea of abandonment, but then we get that spiritual part again. It was all for something greater. It was all for something bigger. So I would love to deep dive into Pisces with you because it is so nebulous and there's so much more there than what we really know, But I want to talk a little bit about what do you think is the biggest illusion? Because Neptune in Pisces was kind of a 16-year illusion trying to help you heal from an illusion that you were carrying. That it was like, in my opinion, course correcting in a very nebulous way, but but like you were carrying an illusion, and that's why Neptune and Pisces went in there in the first place. It was like, you can't keep going like this, right?
Yeah.
So what was the biggest illusion you think that you dispelled during this transit?
I think, of course, I'm gonna go broad, very Aquarian. I'm gonna go broad first, and then I'll come into.
Please do.
I'll narrow down. I think the biggest illusion that we came out of collectively is rugged individualism. I think that is dead. Like, I think at least for me, even online, when I see these people that are like, wake up at 5 a.m. and do your workout and drink 76 grams of protein and all, it's just like, what? No, just no. So this like toxic, rugged individualism where, and the other thing, like this one great man theory, right? Like one great man, like Martin Luther King led the civil rights movement and, we had the best president was Barack Obama and all these things, like one great man would save the world. I think that's done. I think that people realize, like, well done. I think that people realize that communities create movements. Communities change the world. Communities change your state. Communities change your life,
Right.
And I think that especially Black women, there's so many Black women that I personally know and love, but just in around the world that are so learned, so educated,
Yes.
so successful by toxic individualism standards, but still
Mm.
very frustrated with what their life looks like. And
Mm.
I think that there are so many people. I'm just using Black women because I know and love
Go
them,
ahead.
but um, I think so many people feel like that because they're realizing that at the end of rugged individualism, you're alone with all your accomplishments. And being alone with all your accomplishments really doesn't mean that much. And so
Mhm.
it's so about community. And I love that I'm seeing people invest in community. I think the one thing that is coming out of our current presidential administration is the community that it is forcing around our country. And though it is dire circumstances that bring this community together, you're not going to be able to break that super easily, And so
Mm.
I'm like, okay, there's a silver lining in this, trying to stay
Mhm.
positive. And then for myself, I think probably as far as my relationships, really getting out of victimhood mentality or like recognizing that I can't escape parts of my identity that I don't like in relationship. Right. So I can't, I know, right? Like that's a deep one. Rewind
Ow.
that. Yeah.
That
I,
hurt me.
yeah,
Ouch.
I can't escape the parts of me that I don't like because of the person that I'm with's identity. And that was
Mm.
difficult. It was difficult because I helped my husband, get to where he is. And so I'm very proud of who he is and where he is. But that that not only doesn't reflect his worthiness, it doesn't reflect mine either. And
Mm.
so I
Mm.
really had to, yeah, it was tough. I really had to go deep and firstly look at the places that I didn't like about myself with compassion, that Pisces word, with honor and without that victimhood mentality of this happened to me. I really shifted out of the mind frame of this happened to me to this happened for me. So I think
Mm.
that was my biggest shift, is really recognizing that I'm not a victim to anything, that I get to decide no matter if the worst thing ever happened to me, right? I get to decide how I'm going to think about it and how I integrate that into my reality, into my
Mm.
identity, and into the stories that I tell myself about myself, which is my definition of self-esteem. It's just your reputation with yourself. And so I get to decide that. So I think it's a beautiful progression, right, into Aries of this I
Yes.
am, right? This I am
Right.
energy of, yeah, that's what I get to decide who I am, what I represent, what I stand for, what I stand against.
Wow. Oh, I think we're writing a book today, right now. Because it's
Yeah.
just like all these new things we're discovering about this axis, about Neptune, about Pisces, about
Mm,
Neptune moving into Aries, right?
mhm.
Because as of January 26th, 2026, we are no longer in that Neptune and Pisces story.
No.
And, what did you feel the shift? Have you felt the shift? Did you get a little bit of like what Neptune and Pisces tastes like for you so far?
I think I haven't quite tasted it yet. Of course, it's a long transit.
Mhm.
I think that it's almost like I get to see my work. Like I feel like I've gotten that kind of cosmic, like, how you get your test back from the teacher. Like I feel like I've gotten that cosmic, like
Yeah.
Neptune and Pisces test back. And I'm like, I'm happy with this grade. I'm happy with that. But I
You did
think
the work, girl. Like,
I
what you telling me, you went in deep much
I
more than
did. I was
a lot of
like,
folks.
how you get thrown into the pool and you're like, I can't swim, but I guess I'm gonna figure it out. Like that was very that. So yeah, I would say I haven't quite felt it yet, but I do feel it's almost like I feel this like collective vibration, like a collective
Yes.
like there's a lot of action potential this year. There's a lot of kinetic energy right under the surface. And I'm just like, how's that gonna come out?
Mm. I agree. I definitely think that it's not so watery. There was definitely, man, especially with that water trine last
Oof.
last winter, like just a month or two ago. It's like it just felt so heavy. It was just like,
Mm-hmm.
damn. And so there is a lightness with Aries that I'm finding. And what I feel is a fog lifting, where all of a sudden it's like, oh, that used to be confusing. But that's going by real quick. Like, what's up?
Mm-hmm.
Or that Neptune idea of like, I don't really know where this is going. But with Aries, it's like, I'm doing it anyway,
Yes. Yeah.
And I think that we're seeing that, first of all, in the collective, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
There are people now who don't need to have a blueprint. Before it was like, I don't know how to get out of this situation, this political situation.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody stand up and show me how to do this. Where's the playbook? There ain't no playbook, right? Like, this is it. And so we are starting to see people who are just like, look, what you got? I got a hammer, you got a wrench, and it's just like, we don't know where it's going, but we now have this kind of gravitas. We now have this kind of like, if it's not going to be you, it's going to be me, so let's, so that I do feel that. And I feel that, Aries, Neptune and Aries went into my 7th house. I'm about to have similar experience to you, just in an Aries way. But that is that, like you see this. I definitely see the switch where I don't feel that fogginess that was in my 6th house for 16 years. Those the things that the 6th house holds, day-to-day work, health, things like that. I'm like, oh, I got that, and. I also just want to say, it sounds like your Neptune and Pisces experience came towards the end of the transit, which is also when Saturn went into Pisces and joined it there. So you had, I think it's very interesting that that's when the work really showed up for you. was like 2023, when Saturn went into Pisces, and all of a sudden it was like, oh, something's, I need to look at this.
Yes. Like, oh, this is not going to work. Yeah, absolutely. And I love that point you were making of like, if not now, then when, and if not me, then who? Kind of like that's the energy that I am feeling with Neptune and Aries. Like I said, just that kinetic energy of like, something's got to give, something's got to happen. This can't stand. We can't keep doing this, And so I'm actually kind of excited. I'm excited for Saturn and Aries and Neptune and Aries. And I'm excited for the Jupiter transit in the summer. I just feel like there's a lot of good juicy stuff happening, and again, letting go of that victim mentality that I did in Neptune and Pisces. So I know that whatever happens, I can handle it. And that's really what I try to instill in my clients too. Like, you can handle it. You've handled everything else. Like everything you've been through, you can handle it. You've handled it. It's been handled. I don't know if you watched Scandal, like back in 2012.
Yes.
And, Kerry Washington would answer the phone. It's handled. Like
it's handled.
That's it. It's handled.
Yeah. I wonder too, and we could go on and on, I'm sure, because you and I can talk forever. But I wonder too about how, we've talked about astrology and how, yes, all these aspects point to revolutions. They point to periods of history when there was revolutions, wars, all kinds of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so, but to do them now with, if you think about it, when I look back in history and we think about these moments like the Berlin Wall falling and so many things, right? I do remember thinking when I read about these things in history, like, where did they get that from? It's like all of a sudden it was just like wall coming down now. It's been around here how long? And I just remember being like, what was it? What was the breaking point? The moment when, like in Waiting to Exhale, was she just like, you know what? I'm cutting my hair off. You know what I'm saying? And like, I'm going to let your car on fire. Like collectively, something happened.
Yeah.
That made everybody go into, I'm not standing for this. And I think we're about to see, we're about to have that similar energy. But it is a wonderful thing because oftentimes I've looked at history and thought I could never. I don't know where they got that from.
Yeah.
And now we get to maybe be similar heroes.
Yeah. So. Absolutely. You see my little mini me back there.
Yay, hi there.
Yes. So I completely agree with that. I think that, especially when I think back, because my undergrad major is in history, and so I have studied, particularly African American history, was my
Yeah.
subspecialty, and so it's dark. It's dark stuff. That give me just a minute. Yeah, your editor might have to edit this out.
Yeah, don't worry. Take your time.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. We'll wait till they exit. Sorry, editor.
No worries. He's used to it.
Okay. Thank you. All right. So, yeah. So I majored in history. My sub major or subspecialty was American history inside of the history major. And so, particularly African American history. So it's very dark, the heritage of African Americans in this country. And you're absolutely right. It's like, I don't know. Like, I am so grateful to have been born in this time, because how, like, just what, just single word questions. What, how, who, where, and so what you said really runs deep. It hits home for me that there is a strength in our ancestors. There was a shirt that was going around like a few years ago that was like, I'm not my ancestors, or we're not our ancestors. And I just remember thinking, that's so disrespectful, because they went through so much more than we did. They went through what they went through so that you can even wear that shirt. Like, it's nuts. It's nuts. So yeah, I think, but having studied history, I know that it's not actually one collective point, like one thing that happens. It's what we're going through right now. It's like when you boil crabs, you boil live crabs, and it's like a slow boil of like, it's hot, I'm a little uncomfortable, like what's going on? And then it reaches that fever pitch, But so I think that we're in it now. I don't know what the moment will be. I'm a little bit nervous for this Aries energy for the collective, because Aries like to brawl, they like to tussle. So
yeah,
I'm not sure.
It's gonna be your mom showing up with her divorce with her 1 month old baby. That's what that's gonna be.
Yes. So it's like, what does it look like for America to show up with its 3-week-old baby to say like, I want some, I want what I said I wanted.
Yeah. I mean, it will be, last year 2025, we got a little bit of a preview of it. I think it was between May and July, a little bit of a preview, not enough, obviously, but it was just kind of, I do remember like there was a shift politically during that period. It did feel like everybody woke up a minute, like, hey, wait, did you get the memo? Like
right.
We under siege, but I do think what's interesting also about what you said is that is about Black Americans and our history and our connection. Because Aquarius energy is about, which is, the age we're entering, is about evolution. Meaning you cannot be our ancestors. We only can be evolved versions, right?
Yes.
And so there is no going back. There never was. And we cannot be them. We can only be the next version,
Yes.
And we get to decide on. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, girl, I got excited. I was saying that Aries energy is going to help us get there. It's like the wind beneath our wings that we needed to lift off, I think.
And I think that Aries energy is going to help us remember how to celebrate and be happy and love each other in spite of what's happening, and I think that that's the most important thing for the collective, and we can take it from our ancestors. They still got married. They still loved each other. They still had celebrations and holidays and all of these things. They still smiled. They still told jokes, even under the most inhumane of circumstances. And so we have to remember how to be delighted and be merry and be loving and love each other and take care of each other in spite of, like you said, being under siege, in spite of being targeted. And I know that we have to figure out in our separate communities and in our separate realities, how does that work? But I really think that Neptune in Aries is going to cement down that we don't want a king. We don't need a leader, that we can all band together and be a community. And I used to be very radical. Believe it or not. I used to,
No.
when I say when I say radical, I mean like I had posters and markers in my trunk. This was like in my early 20s. I had posters and markers in my trunk just in case I came across a protest. I had a megaphone. I was ready. And so now that all of these things are happening, like I'm a little bit more tame. So I'm like, I'm gonna donate money because, I don't know if I could be out there. I'm gonna donate some money. But it makes me remember how excited I was, and how excited, well, I think excited is the wrong word, but how hungry I was for change, how hungry I am still for change now. But I love seeing that. And Aries is the energy of like the fresh start. I love seeing that next generation that's like, no, we're still going to fight. We're still going to carry the torch, and they're teaching their kids. And it's so beautiful to see that collective hunger is not going anywhere. And if you keep going, you're going to get where you're heading, kind of thing. As my grandmother used to say, that you going to get where you're heading, which meant you're about to get in trouble. But I think for us collectively, it's like, if we keep going, if we keep fighting, we're going to get there. But we also have to remember violence has always been a tool of the state, and we can't out violence the state. Like they own violence.
They literally know it. They own it. They made it. They created it. Yeah.
Yes. And so we truly have to do it. As sounds a little bit cheesy, right? But Martin Luther King said you can't fight hate with hate. You have to fight it with love. And that's literally what we have to do. And I think this is my Aquarian, put your tinfoil hats on, guys.
Okay.
This is my Aquarian prediction. I think that we're going to be in a post-money world in 25 years. I think that if inflation continues in this direction, people are going to say, I can't make enough money, so I'm just not going to deal in money. And I'll do your hair if you watch my kids. I'll change your oil if you cut my grass. And I think the bartering essentially is going to come back.
I wonder, I'm with you, girl. I don't think it's going to take 25 years either, because we do I think we also have to pay attention that we are now in the age of air. Yes. And things happen quicker now. Uranus is moving into Gemini. And that is, right now, Uranus has been in Taurus for 7 years. And so and Pluto was in Capricorn. We've had a lot of slowing things down and just like enduring and, like hold on to my stuff. Let me just wait until it's over, that kind of thing.
Structure building too, like a lot of structure building.
Success, Bill, I got to climb this ladder business. Yep. And now I feel like first of all, Aries rolls up in there and it's like, well, look, I gave you the torch, it's like, and then here comes Uranus, which is Aquarius energy, in Gemini, which is an air sign. It's like, and now I am going to give you the forethought, Gemini, Uranus and Gemini is very prophetic in my opinion, in terms of affecting the mind. Yeah. And foreseeing things and getting, and just things happening quicker and you having the ability to pivot, right?
Yes.
So I don't think it'll take 25 years. I think we learn how to we already knew how to braid hair, So it's like, I think we get to start doing it right now. And I think some of these things are going to collapse and sooner than we thought. And we're going to just have to pivot so I've been watching things like Basic Income for a while now, which I think to some degree, like I used to participate in these like community like jams where we would come up with basic income ideas, like how would we support each other if we had this much to work with. But the idea of basic income is very much money based, meaning you get this amount of money, right? But if you don't have any money, what are you doing? What are we doing? And I think that your idea of like going back to bartering, because that's actually where real power actually is. Like if I have chickens and lay eggs and they lay eggs, then I get to tell you how much my eggs are worth. And you get to tell me how much what I want is worth, and we get to trade. And there is nobody telling us with interest,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
what I'm worth, right?
Hmm.
So this is, I think it's going to happen quick, and I think it's going to be exciting, and I'm with you, girl, and I'm
Yeah.
ready. I'm ready.
And I love what you were saying about money. Money is just a store of value. It's not real, right? And so if we
Mm.
decide that puka shells store value now, hand sanitizer was very valuable 5 years ago, right?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
it's you know,
What if
it's
you decided what was important for you and your community,
yes.
Because
Yes.
not every community needs. I was just thinking about states, right? I live in California. We can go
Mhm.
on forever. I live in California. This is a car state. It was
Mhm.
built for that, right? But when I lived in New York, I was in New York for a decade. I didn't have a car. I took the subway. It's like different priorities, different places, different communities, different people.
Yes.
And so we are, I think, going to figure out that we don't operate on the same timeline, and that we can each individually come up with what we're worth as long as we work together. Um,
Absolutely. And I think that's
so
what Neptune and Aries is going to show us. How do we start these new things? How do we be brave and create these new beginnings that we need to live in this air and fire dominant world that we're about to create?
air and fire. Okay,
Yeah.
my Leo is excited. I know your Leo moon is excited. It's like our time
Yes.
has come.
Finally, right? Like this is what I'm
Finally,
made
right?
for.
That's what I'm made for. I was made for that, like, what, Braveheart, like, at the end of
Yes.
Braveheart. Like, y'all, I've been waiting for this moment. Okay.
Mhm.
So, Alyssa, where can people connect with you? How can they get in on your expertise and your obvious gift? Where can we reach you?
Thank you. So I am all over the internet at the Karuna Lab, TheKaruna Lab. I'm on TikTok, I'm on Threads, I'm on Instagram, I'm on YouTube. I'm also a millennial, so we're getting to that age where it's like, I don't know about a new platform. What are you talking about, right? So those are where you can find me currently. I host events all year, so you can go to my website, thekarunalab.com, check out any events I might be hosting. I would love to have you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for this illuminating conversation. I
Thank you
wish
for
it didn't
having
end, and
me.
you're welcome. And I'm sure everyone that listening is gonna wanna continue and work with you so that they can continue this conversation. And you and I definitely will have to do something similar again and tackle
Yes, yes, I
these.
would love to be a friend of the show.
Thank you so much, so much. I'm so excited to work with Alyssa, and to present today her work to you. Everybody, go to the website and just drink it in, because it's just wisdom, wisdom. Thanks so much for joining us, for being here, and stay tuned for the next episode. Thank you for taking this ride on In Transit. Thanks for listening to this episode of In Transit. If this story resonated, we continue the conversation inside my private AstroCare community, a supportive online space for people who want to learn astrology, receive weekly and monthly forecasts, ask questions about their personal chart, and most importantly, receive nervous system care and group support through every shift and pivot the planets take us on. We don't have to go through any of this alone. We can get through anything together. You can learn more by clicking the link in the description. I'd love to hear what you thought about this episode, so feel free to leave a comment. And if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and share In Transit with someone who's on a journey of their own. And if you'd like to learn more about me and my astrological offerings, you can join my mailing list for weekly newsletters or explore my readings and offerings at selfcarry.com. Until next time, thank you for riding along.